Today, our group is going to be talking about the ethical dilemma surrounding JUUL. I'm Elle Banks, and I will be talking about the ethical dilemma as it is. So, JUUL publicly claimed that its mission was to help adult smokers quit cigarettes, although many of their marketing strategies appeal mainly to minors. That contradiction is the core of their ethical dilemma. It creates a moral tension between corporate responsibility and profit-driven marketing decisions. Some of JUUL's choices that contributed to this conflict included using youthful-looking models and having candy-like flavors such as mango and creme brulee. They also promoted heavily on social media platforms where teens are the primary audience. To add on to that, they used hashtags to appeal to the youth, such as hashtag JUUL or hashtag vaporized. JUUL even went as far as holding school presentations that blurred the lines between education and marketing. All of these tactics show how JUUL's behavior created an ethical dilemma. Their actions encourage exactly the group they claimed not to target. JUUL's case shows how misleading or irresponsible marketing can contribute to something like youth addiction, harm a company's reputation, and lead to major legal and social consequences. That was our ethical dilemma, and now I'm going to pass it over to Sydney for the stakeholder analysis.
Hello, everyone. I'm Sydney, and like Elle said, I'm going to be talking about the stakeholder analysis. So, firstly, JUUL executives and employees, they made decisions on marketing and product design, and they also prioritized growth over ethics using flavors and influencer ads that appealed to the youth. Secondly, teen consumers, they were highly vulnerable to social media advertising and youth-friendly flavors. They were often unaware of the risks of nicotine and addiction. And also, just an intersectional note, teens from lower income backgrounds may face more exposure and less access to health education. And then thirdly, parents and families, they experienced emotional and financial strain as children became addicted to nicotine, and they had limited control over the digital influences targeting their kids. Next, Caleb is going to continue the stakeholder analysis.
Hello, everyone. I'm Caleb Stewart, and continuing the stakeholder analysis, I just want to focus on two specific groups, the public health organizations and the government regulators, because both of them played a major role in how JUUL's situation unfolded. The public health organizations were some of the strongest voices pushing against JUUL. They focused on prevention, education, and accountability, and they all centered around protecting teens from nicotine addiction. Government regulators like the FDA and had a job in stepping in and actually enforcing public health laws, and they were responsible for setting limits on marketing and labels and flavor because their flavors were focused towards teens and pushing sides against that. And they were both, as the FDA was getting pressure from both sides of the business side and the public health. And I'm going to transition that on to Preston.
Thank you, Caleb. I'll be covering the framework application plan. So first, I want to take a look at the responsibilities lens. So the tension here is duty versus behavior. JUUL says it serves adult smokers, yet we have examples like a school talk where rep described JUUL as totally safe and safer than cigarettes. Combine that with smooth high nicotine salt pods, and you get messaging and design that predictably attract teens. That treats minors as means, not as ends. Secondly, the results lens. Here, the tension is real outcomes. Evidence suggests e-cigs can help some adults quit, but youth vaping has involved over 1 million students in recent years. So even if the category can reduce harm for adults, JUUL specific practices may have shifted the net toward harm by driving youth initiation and school impacts. Short-term satisfaction for some adults, versus long-term social costs to youth is the knife's edge here. Through the reputation lens, it's character. The brand talks of adult smokers only, but early campaigns used youthful aesthetics, social channels, and influencer tactics, as Sydney and Elle mentioned previously. That mismatch signals a culture leaning toward growth over temperance and honesty. Lastly, the relationship lens, where we will take a look at fairness. Would we accept a system where a nicotine's products ad lands on youth-heavy sites, or where the burden falls on parents and small retailers if we didn't know who we'd be? even well-meant crackdowns can push teens toward illicit markets, so fairness includes who pays and who's protected. I'll stop there. Connor will take these contradictions and turn them into concrete directions and next steps.
My name is Connor. I'm going to go over the proposed directions and next steps for how we believe JUUL should handle itself in an ethical way. For our proposed direction, we recommend shifting JUUL practices towards ethical responsibility as well as public health, and aligning marketing and product strategies with adult harm reduction goals. As far as next step goes, we're looking to enact stricter age verifications involving two-step online verification and retail identification scanning, as well as supporting smaller retailers with training and compliance tools. From there, we plan to put packaging and advertising redesign into effect, utilizing simple white warning labels on simple white packaging. This will ideally remove youth appeal and move towards a better knowledge of the risks that you are taking when you are using JUUL's products. From there, we then plan to work with corporate accountability, which will perform integrity audits and transparent reporting, as well as stakeholder engagement programs to not only earn public's trust, but give public transparency and show the public that JUUL as a company is working on change and being better for our community. With that in mind, as well as everyone else's analysis and breakdown of how we plan to fix the issues we've discovered, we feel that we can properly bring things around and make a more ethical situation for the whole of JUUL.